Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, host of the Rachel Cruz Show, co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour. My daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Chase starts this hour in Seattle. Hi, Chase. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Just a quick question for you today. I recently got out of an engagement, and I'm trying to figure out how to handle the budget after the fact.
Wow.
I'm sorry. That's a big decision.
Yeah, it's been really hard, and I think it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, but will be one of the best things that I've ever done at the same time.
What happened?
Before we get into money, my biggest thing is I just want to make sure I do the right thing. I was just having doubts, Dave, and I shouldn't have doubts about the woman that I want to marry. And so I don't think that was fair to her, and I don't think it was fair to me either. And things ended great. It was a very mature decision on both our parts.
Wow.
And now we're trying to handle the budget. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do that and how to do this the right way and find that closure and, just do the right thing.
Give us the details. What are the bills outstanding that need to be covered, and who thinks they ought to cover what?
Yeah, so that's where it gets interesting. So the bills paid just for the wedding so far it totals $5,360. And when I reached out to them to try to figure out, hey, how do we handle this? They said, okay, well, the dress that we purchased is non-refundable, and we're going to keep that. So we'll subtract that from the total of $5,360. And so that was
who is they?
That it would be her and her parents.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the bills already paid are $5,300.
Yes, that's correct.
Who paid those? Who paid those?
Her parents did.
Okay. All right.
And the dress, she said, is non-refundable, so she's going to just keep it. So how much was that?
The dress was $2,000.
Okay, so you have $3,300 left.
Yep, exactly. And they think that it is more than reasonable that I cover the remaining $3,300 on my own. So yeah, do I?
Because you were the one that broke up.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make?
I make $78,000.
How much money do you have?
Enough to cover it.
How much money do you have?
Maybe $5,000.
Okay. How old are you?
23 years old.
Wow.
What's your gut say, Chase? What would make you feel
right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I think there's two truths to this. A lot of me just wants to...
No, there's only one truth, but there's two viewpoints. Yeah. Right.
A lot of me just wants to pay it and be done with it. And, that way they don't have anything negative that they could say about me in the situation. I don't think it's about the money at this point, and I think it's more of just kind of a jab at me. And, I'm trying to pay for a master's degree right now, too, so that would be tough. But at the same time, it's just money. And so, if $3,300 is what it takes for this to be over with and for both of us to find that closure, I think so be it. But, I don't know if it's worth the time to try to negotiate and hey, maybe we should just split this in half,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the thing. I would not make the decision based on what they think or what they're going to say about you in the future.
Yes.
Okay.
I would make the decision about what is the ethical, correct thing to do from your position, and whatever their opinion is just going to be their opinion, like it or not, okay?
Yeah.
But you can't buy their... Let me just tell you, you break up with my daughter while you're engaged, you're probably not going to ever give me enough money to make me really love you. Think about it, right? So, I mean, think that you're just not going to buy that, right? So that's okay. I'm not saying you did the wrong thing, but I mean, just having...
Trying to have level of controlling what they think about you through this is not why you would do that. Should not be your motivation, to your point, because you can't control. You could pay this, and then you could hear a year later, oh yeah, some family friend was like, golly, Chase really screwed over and I'm not, and they're all mad. Like they could still do that and you have paid it. Do you know what I'm saying? So like you can't control what they think or feel about you in the future.
Sometimes also a thing that helps me with ethics is to go way out in the future and say, like, okay, you're 23. When you're 73 and you're thinking back on this, what's going to make you feel right? I can tell you. I can tell you, by the way.
Pay it.
I have no idea, so please enlighten me.
I'd pay it.
And I would pay it, Chase, because I think there's a level of, again, it's not a right or wrong thing. And I feel like you, in your case, you made the right call for you, which I think is extremely courageous to break off an engagement. I'm like,
Whoa.
that's really
After the dress is purchased.
Yeah, I mean, like you're in the middle of plan. I'm like, oh my gosh, to even have the wherewithal to be like, I got to end this. So it's not a knock on you, Chase. I think you did a very courageous decision, but I also think because of that decision, there are these dominoes that have played out that have in a tune of $3,300. And I think there's a level of just owning it. Do you know what I mean? Of like, yep, this was my call to do this and to end it, even though it was the right call for me. But because of that, I'm going to take care of what I need to for myself to resolve and take ownership of that decision and move forward with my life. And I think this $3,300 is a representation of you taking ownership and moving forward. And
if I was in your shoes, I would write the check. And I do it for all of those reasons that Rachel said. And you will never look back and regret it.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not doing it out of weakness.
Now, if you found her cheating on you or like, there was some other big dynamic to this formula, then I would be like, girlfriend, like you got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
if she's cheating on you, her parents pay the bill. They get nothing. But that's different. You're the guy broke the contract here. Not by cheating, but I mean, you had a deal. We had a deal. There's a ring on the finger, and you decided I'm not doing that deal. And the cost of getting out of the deal is pay the bills. So that's one reason. The other reason is I can promise you from having done stuff like this in the past, it relieves at the moment you're doing it, it's like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. But you will never look back and go 20 years from now, I wish I had negotiated with those people. You'll never go back and say that. Yeah. The 40-year-old you, the 60-year-old you will never go back and go, oh, I really messed that up. I should have screwed them over.
Would your viewpoint change at all if it was $50,000 that these parents have put down and all this stuff and they want him to pay? Like, you know what I mean? Does the amount change the weight of
it makes it harder to make the decision, and I would have to weigh in at that point.
The length of time we would be in this.
I mean, let me just tell you, if you sign up for $50,000 worth of stuff, it wasn't him signing up for all that. That would have been like her and her mom signing up for all that. So I probably would have put some weight on them. But this is a very reasonable amount.
Yep.
And and they're deducting the dress from it. They're trying.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you'll just have no regrets. Live a life where you sleep with your head on the pillow. It's that simple. This is The Ramsey Show. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions of your life. You need a partner like Churchill Mortgage. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country, and they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Churchill works with you to build a mortgage the Ramsey way, one that doesn't bust your budget, sets you up for financial success, and helps you get out of debt faster. Go to churchillmortgage.com today and get started. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and co-host. If you haven't checked it out with George Camel, Smart Money Happy Hour is one of the biggest hits on Ramsey Network right now. So on the Ramsey Networks, it's a great podcast, a lot of fun in the afternoon. These two cut up and carry on. George is the king of snark, And you'll like hanging out with the two of them. Smart Money Happy Hour. Be sure and do that. When it comes to this show, we need your help. Would you subscribe, please? Would you follow? Push the follow button. Click it, click it, click it. And leave us a 5-star review. 1-star reviews are not helpful. If you don't like the show, quit listening. But, hey, it's pretty simple. Move on. But otherwise, leave us a 5-star review. We'd love to have that. Thank you. It's a big help on the old algorithms on the internet. Pushes the show forward. Other people get to learn about it and all of that kind of stuff. And, of course, you can share the show. Share the link. Click the share button on however it is you're consuming it, whether it's Spotify or Apple, whatever it is. Oh, and by the way, you could share which talk radio station you're listening to. That would work, too. Or maybe you're a YouTuber. I don't care. No, maybe I'm the YouTuber. You're the watcher on YouTube. I'm just a YouTuber now, Rachel. That's kind of like Deloney. I'm down to that now. Open phones here, 888-825-5225. Jonathan's in Washington, D.C. Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
Hi, sir. Thank you so much for taking my call. Rachel, it's a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you, Jonathan. How can we help?
Yeah, so I'm in a bit of a predicament. In January, I moved my family up from central Virginia to the southern Maryland outside of D.C. For a fantastic job that God just kind of seemed to fall into my laps. And then 2 weeks ago, I was laid off.
Oh,
gosh.
That sucks.
We went from, yes. So we have now gone from making more money than I thought I would make in my life to literally only getting the disability I claimed from the Air Force. And so we are on baby step 2, trying to work down our debt. As soon as I lost my job, we started contacting all our creditors and explaining the situation, and everything's been great. Everyone's been very accommodating, which was, thank God, because I was not expecting that. With the exception of today, my wife's credit card company basically said, we're not going to lower your monthly payment unless you go through a consolidation loan. Mm-hmm. And so they connected her with an organization called Navicorp. Not familiar with them. Don't know anything about them.
You don't need to do that.
Okay.
Tell them to bite your ankle.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're not in charge. They're a stupid credit card company. You're in charge. So what were you making?
I was making $88,000 a year.
At the dream job that you just got laid off?
Yes, sir.
Doing what?
I am a public relations specialist.
Okay. What happened? How did they screw up so bad they move a family from out of state only to lay them off? That's pretty freaking ridiculous.
I'm not entirely sure. What was told to me is that I was not meeting their expectations for quality of work.
Okay. Wow. Ouch.
And I can only vouch for myself so much. You know, I have a degree to go with it and 7.5 years of experience doing public relations for the Air Force. Mm-hmm. And that's all I know. You know, I have my opinion, but I don't think it's worth.
Doesn't matter now. Their opinion counts because they own the place. They can do what they want. Okay. Exactly, so you're looking. How long have you been looking?
Literally since the day I got laid off.
No, when was that?
That was on May 3rd.
Okay, just a couple weeks ago. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so how's the hunt?
How's the hunt? Paid for May. It's okay. You know, there have been a couple things that have kind of drawn out, but one was in Dallas, Texas, and they would want me there day one, and I don't know if I can move my family halfway across the country, having just moved them upwards.
You can. If you're choosing Dallas over D.C., in about 13 seconds, I make that decision.
I believe you, and I agree there. Neither my wife and I, through prayer, have felt comfortable with it, and so we're just trying to seek God's will as much as we can there. And then been applying for as many things as I possibly can. Had an interview this morning, but unfortunately, it's sort of a different sort of communications. More of like a dispatcher communicator than a telling people what's going on in the world communicator. But yeah, if you know anyone who's hiring for a public relations person with 12 years of experience and a college degree.
Jonathan in Washington, D.C. is looking. Okay, so...
that was a bit selfish. I apologize.
That's okay. It's all good. How much money you got in the bank?
We have about $1,600 in our credit account. Checking account.
Does your wife work?
She does not. No, she has gone off work to stay.
You got
home
a
with our
side
children.
hustle going yet?
I was about to throw on a tie and go out to our local warehouse store and apply for an in-person interview.
Yep. Take all you can get right now. Just get some money coming in for food.
I was going to say the side hustle. And then Jonathan, honestly, and it's not a, long-term thing, but I'm like, but the remote workplace is still booming. Like people are still doing so much remote, if you can find a company that maybe you're not there long-term, but it at least gets you into a career that you don't have to move your family because you guys aren't comfortable with that right now. And then it's kind of settle into something. And then maybe in a year you look for something else, but finding something quickly, I think is going to be the key. And it may not be your passion. It may not be everything that you love. It may not be a company you love, but you guys got $1,600. And I'm like, what can you plug into very quickly? The side hustle will be that bridge. But I'm thinking about health insurance. There's just a lot. There's a lot there. And so you want to be able to have something fast. And I think because of the urgency, it may not be a thing that you absolutely are passionate about and love, but it's getting what you need for your family for the time. And then maybe that other opportunity comes and you have the bandwidth to be able to do that.
How old are you?
I will be 34 in June.
Okay. Thank you for your service, by the way. Let me give you something to pray over and think about. It would be normal in your situation because you felt like God led you to this and obviously didn't. And so sometimes in my life, in my spiritual walk, I have confused last night's pizza with the Holy Spirit.
Or he did, and he's teaching, and there's a lesson for Jonathan to learn.
It could be, but it didn't. Short term, it doesn't look good, right? So sometimes I thought something was God and it wasn't, is all I'm saying. So what happens with that and getting fired for something you're good at, it shakes your confidence if you're a normal human being. At least it did mine when those kinds of things have happened to me. And so I would just pray about the Dallas move as to whether ask God for real clear guidance as to whether that's his spirit that's troubling you or just you're not feeling confident right now, and so nothing that looks risky feels okay. Nothing that has a high rate of change feels okay because you're at a low point emotionally. I'm not saying one way or another. I'm not just declaring that that's God. I don't know what God's will is for this for you. But I am seeking peace, and I want that peace to come from him and from strength, not from avoiding anything that looks like risk after I just got my lights punched out.
Yeah.
So just kind of lean into that, and you guys make sure that's what it is, because with everything that's going on, I liked the sound of the Dallas thing, just looking in from the outside. Now, I've met you a whole 3 minutes ago, so I'm not an expert on Jonathan's life or what's good for you. Don't misunderstand. But out of everything you put in the mix here, that sounded the most fun of anything you brought up. And obviously, I like that city for a lot of different reasons, but for opportunity for you and all kinds of things as far as PR goes. D.C., the PR stuff is much darker. It's much more oriented around politics and social issues and those kinds of things rather than doing PR in a business setting or a ministry setting. Not as much of that in D.C. as there is in Dallas. So just something to think about.
And no income tax in Texas, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
It's helpful.
Yeah, that's fun. I could just go on and on, but I'm going to leave it right there.
I think Dave...
We're going to go into the commercial break on
saying
time.
Jonathan-
This is The Ramsey Show. We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility, because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily, so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Plus years ago, I started teaching Financial Peace University with a bad suit and an overhead projector in a hotel ballroom. We would break up and have small group discussions after I would teach a lesson. In those days, the lessons, there were 13 of them, and we taught them every other week. So you were with me for 26 weeks. It was $579 to go through. The first 4 people that went through cried a lot. Because I'm mean, because I love you so much, I'm going to make you do this stuff. All 4 of them are millionaires now. That's a lot of years ago, and it works. Now, 10 million people have gone through this class, sitting with coordinators that are a lot nicer than me, who have a discussion with you after you go through one of the only 9 lessons now. It's much sweeter now. It's much easier now, but it is still a proven system. Well, Dave, I can find everything you teach in that on YouTube. Yeah, there's 400 YouTube clips that you could go through that have FPU stuff in them. If you want to wander around in that for 3 or 4 years and try to figure that out, you can. Oh, by the way, none of this I invented. It's all common sense. You could have just done that. Live on less than you make. You don't need us at all. But if you really want to do the right thing and do this stuff right down the line and do the system that is proven and has an average of an $8,000 turnaround in the first 90 days if you go through the lessons at least one a week, and you sit with your coordinator online or in person and are held accountable and encouraged if you're struggling and scared. We're all been there. And if you do all of that, there's an $8,000 turnaround, an average of $5,300 in debt paid off in the first 90 days and a $2,700 savings in the first 90 days. That's the average across 10 million people, and some of those people did nothing. And some of them were extremely successful. So all of that's going on, and you could join Rachel's class. Rachel is a coordinator.
Mine's closed.
Is it closed? They're not
closed.
letting people in?
No, but you can. Deloney's starts next week, I think.
Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, Eddie Cullen.
Mine is closed.
And Jade's is closed then, too.
Yes, yep. Because we're
y'all
on
are
week
2
3.
weeks in.
Yeah.
You're 2 weeks in. Too far. Yeah,
Yep.
Okay. So Rachel's got a very popular class. Jade has a very popular class. But Coleman, Deloney, you can still get in on. And George Camel, you can still get in on.
And Eddie Cullen.
And Eddie Cullen.
Our host,
yeah.
yes.
So go to fpu.com if you want to do that, or just ramseysolutions.com. I mean, you don't have to go to the celebrity coordinator Ramsey personality one if you don't want to. If you want to go to a regular class at your church, that's cool. Or you want to just join a virtual class and one of our other people are a coordinator. That's fine. But you need the people in your life to make sure you're doing this system, because if you'll submit yourself to this proven system, you're going to have the results. It works, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. We're on week 2 with my class, and so on Monday we went through the debts. Or no, I guess it was on it was on Wednesday. It was last Wednesday. Gosh, it's been almost a week. And 3 people there live got on the audio on the Zoom and cut up. One girl cut up 5 credit cards right there.
Oh, plastic surgery.
Yep, right there. It was great. So the classes are so fun, you guys. They really are. Whether you do it virtually or in person, it's a great community. There's always good discussion. People can ask questions. You walk through the lesson together, and I mean, It really is. It's worth it. And if you do one of the personality ones, we're cramming all 9 lessons in about 3.5 weeks. So there's 2 lessons per week.
It's a mini term.
Yes. So it's quick. So if you want to kind of get through it, versus doing the lessons, once a week and kind of keeping that rhythm, it's another option. So come join.
There's a magic when people do things together versus just trying to do them on their own. So this is a community experience, not a digital experience. It has digital elements to it, but you're going to change your life if you lean into this. We'll show you how. RamseySolutions.com. Check it out. All right, Millie's with us in Chattanooga. Hi, Millie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon, Dave.
What's up?
I have listened to your shows from the first time that you hit the airwaves. And your plan has worked for me over the years. I'm now 72 years old. I'm happily retired in a beautiful mountain home. Lived debt-free for years and years. And so it's just
my kind of folks.
It's just a great retirement life when you are debt-free and you have all the money you need at retirement.
Amen, Millie.
Have at it. And some beautiful mountains around Chattanooga to have a house on. Cool. How can we help today?
Well, I ran into one dilemma, and I guess that's because my emotions are in this one. I always thought that I did excellent making accounting decisions over my lifetime and never stumbled anywhere. But I'm widowed, and so I'm engaged. And the thing is that I love my beautiful home, retirement home that I have built. And my fiance, he don't have the financial means that I have. And he lives in a small little home on a farm. And I'm sitting here in 4,000 square feet home with sunrooms, screen porches, you name it, I got it all. And he's in 1,100 square foot little small farmhouse. He does not want to leave the farm to live in my mountain home. And so
wait a minute. Why wouldn't he? He gets you in the pick. He gets you with the deal.
Yes, he gets me in the deal. Maybe I'm just going to have to kick him in the butt. I don't know.
Millie, how far of a distance is the farmhouse and the mountain house?
15 minutes.
Okay, Millie, he needs to move in with you and then keep his farmhouse, and he can go there when he wants to hang out and everything. Y'all can keep both.
You can do weekends at the farm.
Keep both.
But he has suggested that, that we live at his house. And so anyway, he wants me to, or has suggested, now he's never asked me for any money, even though he has a small Social Security income. He's never asked me for money, and I've known him since childhood. He has suggested that I invest for about $150,000 to $200,000 in his home to make it the home that I would be comfortable in. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't do that.
And so I can't see it because I keep telling myself that's an awful costly marriage license.
Well, I don't think that's necessary to get married. I think he's going to marry you anyway because he's a smart man. So
we've been engaged over a year, and the families keep saying, now I have no children, but his family is wonderful to me.
That's good. So here's what I would do. His house is paid for, right?
Yes.
Your house is paid for, right?
Yes, paid for.
And how much of a nest egg do you have, kiddo?
I have over $1 million.
All right. I would just leave his house as your weekend property. Y'all both hang some clothes. Now, this is after you're married. Hang some clothes in both houses. I got a lake house about an hour and 15 minutes south of my house, and I love it, but I ain't going to live down there. It's too far away. And so, but I'm down there most weekends in the summer and a couple of them in the winter. And I keep a set of clothes down there. I just throw a backpack in the car and I go down there. Sharon and I, it's our second home. And you've got a wonderful farm, beautiful little farm with a nice little house on it. That's your wonderful second home. And y'all go spend weekends on the farm and weekdays up at the other place or vice versa, and keep them both. But I would not improve that property. It's not what you want to do.
Millie,
That's why I wouldn't do it, because you don't want to do it.
Well, does he have a quick reasoning to why he wants to stay in the farmhouse? Is he just like being by the farm? Like I wonder what his reason is.
Well, the house was built in 1905, and it was his grandfather's and his father's home, and he was there.
I would not get rid of it.
Don't sell it.
Don't sell it, but I wouldn't improve it. I would just use it as my weekend farm home.
Well, I think the conclusion that I'm thinking of right now, Dave, since you mentioned that, is I think I'll just take one extra bedroom in it and build me a large walk-in closet.
So when Millie's going to hang some clothes up,
Millie.
She's taking a bedroom. I'm just saying.
100%.
Millie, you are the most fun I've had in a long time. Well done. I love it. Yeah, you need to tell this guy to paint or get off the ladder. Y'all get married and use the farm as a weekend home and just turn that bedroom into a walk-in closet. You got a plan. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Hey, if you're brand new to this show, and a whole bunch of you are, based on our ratings increases and our ranking increases and so forth, we appreciate all of you being here. And of course, if you're hearing stuff like baby steps and debt snowballs and you don't know what all that means, you want to get plugged in, go to RamseySolutions.com for free. And click on the Get Started button. When you click the Get Started button, it'll help you figure out where you are and what your next steps are, and you'll start to learn the lingo of the stuff we're talking about and figure out how you can best apply some of this and start to change your life. So, hey, that's what we're here for. The phone number here, 888-825-5225. Brian's in New York City. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, Dave, Rachel. Pleasure to speak with you. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure. What's up?
So my wife and I are out of debt. We built up our fully funded emergency fund, and we're in baby step 3B. We are currently renting. We're about an hour away from the city, and we commute into the city to work. And we're trying to save up for a down payment, and we're trying to cut corners and take every step we can to increase the amount that we can save each month. And I'm just wondering if I should change my retirement down to zero and what my wife should do with her percentage at work. Currently, I'm working part-time, and I'm also staying at home with the kids, so we're cutting out childcare there. And she works as a nurse manager and full-time. And her job has a 4% match at 50% match, and she currently has it at 4%. So I'm just not sure what we should be doing to try to get the most amount possible, and just trying to figure out ways to.
Yeah, have you guys kind of done a timeline, Brian, to say, hey, if she does pause, because I would encourage you guys to pause for a period of time while you're saving, just to increase the cash flow, like what you mentioned. Do you know how long it would take you guys to save up a down payment if you guys paused all retirement and threw all the extra money you guys have per month?
It's probably going to be a couple years. Currently, we have $6,000 down payment, and we have $5,000 in a car fund. And I guess if need be, we can combine them. But yeah, to get a good down payment, especially in this area, it's going to take a couple of years at least.
How old are you?
I am 31, and my wife's birthday is actually today, and she is not going to say.
Okay. So if you started saving for retirement at 15% of your household income, beginning at age 33, you would retire a multimillionaire.
Okay.
And so if you take 2 years off and save up a down payment, and then you start. The trick is, don't take 2 years off and then keep spending like you're in Congress. You don't need to be going out to eat. We're saving for a house. We don't need to be going on vacation. We're saving for a house. We're saving for a house. We're sacrificing the match. We're sacrificing the compound interest. We're sacrificing our investments to get a house. So by God, let's get the house. Don't screw around the edges of this. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got to play through for this to make sense. If you just stop retirement and then you lollygag along for 5 years, this is not good.
Okay, so you're thinking somewhere in the range of 1 to 3 years?
Yes.
Think you've heard,
yeah,
I've
3
heard.
years would be the max I would be unplugged. And so you got to set yourself a goal and say, how much have we got to save a month to be there? And what have we got to do to make that happen? And that may be working extra, that may be cutting other things, there may be other things involved, but you got to set this as a detailed thing, because you do the danger of some of the stuff that we teach is if you don't do it all, it'll leave you hanging. Because we tell you to stop retirement and, get out of debt. But if you don't go get out of debt, then you never start retirement again.
Yeah.
In your case, you've got your emergency fund. I'm gonna really enhance this 3B because this is an expensive area. I need some down payment money.
Yeah. And Brian, too, for first-time home buyers, because you said you're renting, we say anywhere from 5 to 10% for a down payment. So be, looking on that side so that you guys can press play back into retirement. Yeah. And then you're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and then you're throwing extra money that you guys have at the house. But
we love 20% down because you avoid PMI. But for a first-time home buyer getting out, Rachel's right. Let's get the deal done.
Yeah.
5-10% down, something like that. You're going to have some PMI, but get her done and then get that retirement going and then get that mortgage paid down and get rid of that PMI. That'd be your next thing. Arthur's in Richmond, Virginia. Hey, Arthur, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
So I had a question. I've seen you guys give some career advice. So I want to ask you, I am in a job right now, and I don't think my boss is very good at doing his boss job. And so I'm wondering, I really have just one main question is, when do I know how bad it has to get before I leave? And then also, if he's doing things that I know aren't useful to the people under him, including myself, and things that I just think are wrong, when would I go to his boss and kind of report things? I don't want to obviously stir the pot and just start fights at work with his boss about it or cause problems at work. But I just don't know, when is the right time to go to his boss about things that he's doing or lack of or not doing, and when would I know it's just time to move on and go to a different company?
Arthur, is any of it moral issues, or is it more just leadership style? Like he's not engaged where he should be and he's not communicating. Is it more of those kind of attributes, or is there stuff going on that you're like, that's flat out wrong, borderline immoral?
So leadership style I can get over, but one is competency in leadership. I'm a salesperson. I've been number one in my company for the past 5 months, and some of the advice he gives me, I'm just yeah, I would never do that. I don't understand where you're getting this advice, and I don't believe he has the experience to back up his role as also a teaching manager in sales. And then also,
how long have you been there? 5 months?
I've been there about 6 months.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
How old is he?
50-something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you think the probability that you talking to his boss is going to fix all this?
I don't know. I don't know, because his boss does ask me questions about him, and I'll give him honest feedback. I don't know what it's going to change, honestly. I really don't.
Well, and there's two possibilities. One is realistic, one is not. One possibility is they move him on. Mm-hmm. They fire him because he can't do his job, and their number one sales guy is talking to leadership about that. Okay, that's a possibility that's reasonable. The possibility that this 55-year-old guy who is not competent suddenly becomes competent because you talk to his boss is precisely zero.
Okay.
Think about it. They can't train him up on the things he's doing in a short period of time. These are long pattern things that have to be fixed. So you're either going to endure him while he's growing, which is really doubtful, or he's going to be removed, or you're going to be labeled and you'll be gone.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about.
Well, I wouldn't be worried about it. You're going to quit anyway, so what's it matter?
So that's, I guess, the other question then in terms of quitting, so I don't know, it's good money and I'm making good money and I'm happy in that sense, but it's a mess all the time with management. So I don't know at what point I should leave, because I'm not growing personally except things I learn on my own. But I'm not learning from the company anymore. So
okay.
I don't know when.
Oh, I would have something else in place, Arthur, before you go in and just quit, though, right? Because there's sales jobs everywhere. If you're a great salesperson, you can find a lot of things to sell and find good culture in other companies. It doesn't sound like it's a great culture.
I think you've lost faith in the entire organization, not just this one guy, and it's probably time for you to go get something else.
Which, thankfully, your skill set is very broad, right, Arthur? So I think you could kill it a lot of places, but
go get something else, and then be aware that you might be 26 and after 6 months you don't know it all. That's possible too.
Yes, I thought about that too, Arthur. A little humility. Just remember that.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, host of The Rachel Cruz Show, co-host of Smart Money Happy Hour with George Camel, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Lee is with us in St. Louis. Hi, Lee. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Mr. Ramsey. I was calling today because I'm trying to get through these baby steps kind of on my own, since my husband and I, our finances are separated. And I'm wondering if I should stop putting into my 401k to get there faster.
Why are your finances? Is it Leah or Lee?
It's Leah. That's
Leah.
okay.
No, it's great. It's great.
I've been called worse. No, it's fine.
Oh my gosh. I'll call you by your right name though. Yeah, Leah, why are the finances separate?
They didn't start off that way. We've been married for 14 years in August. And when we started out, our finances were together, but we fought a lot about money. Bills were always paid. I'll say that. I've always worked full time, but my husband, when we got married, was going to school, and he actually went to pharmacy school. And when he finished pharmacy school and started getting what I call like his big money, we were doubling up on his loans and paying those off faster, but the checking account was always to zero. And that he just couldn't take it anymore, and I couldn't take the fighting. So we decided together to split our finances. But now, fast forward, that's been about 8 years, and I'm still kind of living paycheck to paycheck, essentially. And I know that bothers him for me to say that, but that's
well, it's
really
kind of a Dr. Phil moment. How's that working for you? It's not.
It's not.
I know. So, Leah, here's the truth. Here's what we have found. It's really difficult. It's not that it's absolutely impossible, but I'm going to say it is really difficult to win with money long term and have money goals like getting out of debt, saving up an emergency fund, like doing all the baby steps that we talk about. When you are in a household and you're working on one income and the other person is there with their income, but you guys share bills, your names are maybe on each other's debt because you're married. Like, I mean, it's like it's half in, it's half out. And so for one to go on this really straight path and run really hard while the other one isn't there. It's almost like you're just dragging this weight behind you, trying to make progress. And it's really difficult, almost impossible to make progress when that happens. And so honestly, I would say, Leah, I mean, the tactical answer to your question is yes, pause retirement while you're paying off debt and getting an emergency fund in place. But that's 2-3 steps later. I think the first main step is you and your husband. I mean, honestly, sitting down and you guys
what
really getting to this point though, where you communicate, obviously, your needs, your desires, what your fears were, what the frustration was 8 years ago, and bring it back up. Because what y'all basically did was just decided to avoid a fight instead of get to a resolution by just separating. And a lot of couples do that. Well, we just fight, we can't do this, so we're going to just separate and just ignore each other financially and run on these two separate roads. But the issues are still there, and they're probably coming up in other places in your marriage too, Leah.
Yeah, we still fuss and fight about it because he's unbelievably frugal. Like, he goes neutral down a hill to save on gas. So he's paid off his student loans, which were very high, like over $160,000. He's paid those off. He has an amazing savings, but I'm still over here like chugging along paycheck to paycheck.
And why is that? Because of your income, or is that because of your money habits?
Definitely a combination. He makes double what I make, but we try to split the bills. So I feel like, okay, I can get the bills met, but then I've discovered now through your book, I'm so excited you're on the show today because I love you, and reading your book has opened my eyes to my own issues that I didn't even know I had. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's why I do that. And I didn't understand. So now I'm like, this age of enlightenment, and I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm like, okay, let's make a budget, and let's not spend money on Amazon, and let's not go out to eat 5 times a week. And, so I'm learning.
Yeah.
There's definitely some behavior stuff on my side, but also when I'm still trying to meet like all the bills that we've kind of said that we would meet together, but separate, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this overall situation is not efficient. It's not good relationally. You're not resolving the underlying issues. He's not respecting your ability to enjoy life. And he's gone on with his frugality so much that instead of it being a virtue, it's turned into something you're starting to resent. You're paying more than half the bills with less than half the income. I'm not sure how you figured that out was okay. And so, there's just so much wrong with this. So the old Book of Common Prayer says this: for rich or for poor, in sickness and in health, unto thee all my worldly goods I pledge. And it's this idea of joining our lives, because here's what happens relationally and practically as well. What you spend your money on says what you value. And you value going out to eat and enjoying life, like Rachel, okay? Rachel's mom, on the other hand, has 6-year-old leftovers in the freezer. She's your husband.
It's
okay?
True. Yeah. You guys get
This is true.
Like,
They fell out when I opened the door the other day, and I said, you're throwing some of this out, or I am. It hit me on the toe. This has got to stop. And so this is how life works, right? I mean, this is marriage. And so I'm going to enjoy my wife's frugality. She's going to know that her life is much more fun because I'm around, because I'm the minister of fun at our place. And I'm the spender by nature, even though I teach this stuff every day. And so I'll be the one that plans the fancy trip that she gets to take. So you're that person, and he has that benefit by having you, but he's not getting the benefit of that. You have the benefit of having some net worth, an actual nest egg built, because he's freaking frugal. That's awesomeness. See, yeah. Larry Burkett used to say, if two people just alike get married, one of you is unnecessary. But you're not getting the benefit, the complementary of your complementary skills and values. Instead, they became a reason for separation.
And Leah, I'm telling you too, there's a level of couples, when you separate your finances, you're separating something that's supposed to be unified.
Yeah, dreams.
When you marry someone, you are sharing your life, not in this like codependent way of, all of that. Like, you still are Leah and he is still him. And that was to Dave's point earlier. Like, you're still going to be who you are. But when you separate that and you guys don't work together with your finances, I'm telling you, there is stuff that you guys are avoiding and you end up being roommates.
Yeah.
That there's a level of intimacy that is created and vulnerability when you say, I everything I have is yours, everything you have is mine, and we're a team, we're married. Like, it should be us against the world. And instead, you're in this like triangle with the world trying to dance around it, and it's exhausting. So your marriage will thrive. Will be so much richer and deeper if you guys work on the same team. So that's the next conversation.
We're going to give you Financial Peace University. I want the two of you together to go through it. I'm going to give it to you as a gift. If that doesn't solve it, get in marriage counseling for the good of your relationship and your future. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Our question of the day is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. If you're moving, you have a long list of to-dos. But Neighborly has local pros like Housemaster, 5-Star Painting, Window Genie, and Junk King to check items off that list. Visit neighborly.com to schedule home service experts near you.
And today's question comes from Wayne in Pennsylvania. Right now, what would be the best investment and stocks to invest in if there's a downturn coming? If the government does not raise the debt ceiling in June and we go into a recession, what is the best thing to do with our money? Well, Wayne, I would say honestly, we're still so consistent regardless of what downturn is happening, especially when it comes to investing. If you are out of debt with a fully funded emergency fund, you still want to be investing. Even in a downturn, and
especially in a downturn.
Yeah, we've had ups and downs, and what happens is a lot of people have a lot of fear and they freak out, and so they either stop investing or they pull their money out at the bottom, which is actually the best time to invest because then you get to ride all the gains when it goes back up. And so I would be very consistent, Wayne, on what you're doing. We talk about retirement a lot, 401ks, Roth IRAs, good mutual funds within those, and just continue the path. Now, if you are in a position and, with a recession, the job market and stuff, that's sometimes where you see significant possible layoffs and that kind of thing. So if you're in an environment, a company or an industry that layoffs are happening and you have a 3-month emergency fund, maybe I would probably bump it up to 6. You can be conservative on the savings end to get to money. But other than that, I would keep investing. But in June is when the debt ceiling, Dave, comes into effect. And so there's that whole conversation going on. And so when you look at that, what are your thoughts around all that?
I yawn. It's happened so many times in my 62 years that they get up to the debt ceiling.
And they're just going to raise it, right?
What are they going to do?
Yeah, I know.
Of course they're going to raise it. Like 100% of the time, they raise the debt ceiling because they just can't quit spending. They spend like they're drunk and on drugs. I mean, they just spend all the time up there. And so they're going to raise it. Of course they're going to raise it. But there's going to politically posture around and act like it's somebody's fault. It's not somebody's fault. It's your fault and my fault because we elected those idiots. And we keep sending them up there. And they keep doing the same stupid butt stuff over and over and over again. They're going to raise it. And even if they don't for 3 weeks and they have to set some federal workers aside or some kind of crap like that, like they do a time or two, I can remember. I think it's happened twice or 3 times in my life. But every so often we get this thing, but it's Democrats versus Republicans, and I'm going to push through my little agenda in order to not hold, I'm going to hold the nation hostage so I can get my little political crap into the bill. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we're seeing up there right now at this moment.
Yeah.
As always. So they're going to pass it. And even if they don't, it's not going to throw the nation into a recession. Where'd you get that? That's just wrong. It's not going to do that. So all of that aside, your core question is, what do we invest in? I invest in 4 types of mutual funds: growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. I prefer mutual funds that have at least a 10-year track record, and all of the ones I currently own do. And I invest in those in up times, in down times, in all times. I never stop. I invest all the way down. I invest all the way up. I am always looking like I'm the smartest person on the planet. And the only intelligent thing I did was I didn't stop. And I just keep investing, and I just keep investing, and I just keep investing. And we found all kinds of research that says the number one correlating factor to people who build wealth investing is that they actually invest.
Consistently.
They don't sit and discuss whether the debt ceiling is going to knock them out or whether the dollar is going to get blown up or whether the dadgum drama that goes around the economy all the time.
Okay, well, the other drama piece, you mentioned it, but the word recession, it's one that's floated around for a while, and a lot of people are saying that's something that you can see.
2 consecutive quarters of the GDP going down. That's a recession.
But it's a little different definition.
If you say it with movie music in the background, boom, 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 a recession report live on CNN or Fox. It's the recession. We're following the recession, and then it didn't actually happen. It's kind of anticlimactic, and so, or the recession happens and the economy was down 0.25%, 2 consecutive quarters. And so it's technically a recession that totals 0.5% of shrinkage. Well, whoop-de-doop-de. I mean, really. Listen, I can tell you something that had a whole lot more effect on it. Its name was Fauci. Okay, he had a lot more impact on your economy and on your the mess that you call inflation. Now, the inflation crap is real.
Yeah.
But recession? Nah. Guys, listen, there's always a newscaster whose job is to scare your butt because you don't watch unless you're mad or scared. And if you're mad or scared,
kind of true.
You go down the rabbit hole and keep watching and keep watching and keep watching. And you study all the theories and all the reasons that everything that we've worked for is just going to evaporate and we're all going to die. And this drama, this fear porn is just real. I'm not making fun of Wayne. I'm making fun of me and Rachel and everybody else. We all do this. You're the conspiracy theory queen of the family, of course. So, we all do this, and so you get sucked into this. You get sucked into this Freudian negative scarcity, fear-based stuff, and it keeps you. The reason I'm going off on it is it keeps you from investing.
Yes.
So you have to it's an act of your will. It's an act of your intellect. I'm just going to keep investing, and the ones that never stop for any reason, they just keep investing. They're the tortoise, and they win. Every time I read the book.
It's good.
Good stuff. Jordan's with us in Sacramento. Hey, Jordan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you guys so much for taking my call. I'm so happy.
Well, we're honored. How can we help?
Okay, so basically, my husband and I are in baby step number 2, and his brother in October is having a wedding, and he lives all the way in Boston. So my husband and I have, done the math. And we're just kind of getting a little bit of anxiety about it because we really feel like obviously we can't afford it because we have debt. But at the same time, my husband just feels really bad because it's his brother. So it's like, but at the same time, when we look at our goals of like starting a family and things like that, we kind of feel like we just need to make the decision of not going. But then again, because it's his brother, there's just that factor of feeling really guilty about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would say when events like this happen, because a lot of people, you know, whether it's weddings or 50th anniversary celebrations, right? I think it's looking at the people in the relationship at this point and just saying, hey, how important is this relationship? And I'm not saying this is your brother's case, but just say like, they don't really have, what if, right? They didn't really have a relationship. They don't talk anything. I still, Jordan, would caution you when it's immediate family. I'm like, I don't think I would miss my sister or my brother's wedding. I don't think I would. And so even though you're in baby step 2, for me, this is where I would probably pause and pile up some money, get a cheap flight from Sacramento to Boston, and
sleep in your husband's old bedroom that he grew up in.
Yeah,
in
it's
your
not going to be a
house,
big,
and turn around and come back home. Cheap it out. Don't miss your brother's wedding, but do it on the absolute cheap. If it was your friend's wedding, no, you're going to miss it. Because 25 years from now, they're not going to be your friends.
unless it's your absolute. What?
25 years from now, they're not going to be your friend. They're not. You're not even going to know who they are. You're not. But I'll tell you, 25 years from now, he's still going to be your brother. So, yeah.
Okay.
I would. I definitely. I wouldn't miss this. Not even a chance. But cheap on the cheap, the absolute cheap. Hey, Rachel, I gotta tell you,
we can talk about it on. I agree, and I have thoughts. We have to go to break.
You do.
We got to go break. Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget.
Thank you for joining us, America. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. As a spender, Rachel, you've been known to buy things like pizza.
Yes, I do. I do love pizza. I love going out to eat. So whenever I have extra cash on hand, it is absolutely the best. That's why I'm so excited to announce our Ramsey Cash Giveaway. It is back, and this is your chance to win up to $500 or the $3,000 grand prize. So guys, it is so easy to enter. All you have to do is go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway, and you can increase your chances by winning by entering daily. So there is no purchase necessary, but you must be 18 or older to win. And we're not stopping there. We are actually running one of our famous incredible sales. The $10 sale is here. So get the books and the tools you need to build wealth, find the career that you were made for, improve your mental health, and deepen your relationships. The $10 sale includes All Questions for Humans Conversations from Dr. John Deloney, and my book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, and Dave Ramsey's newest best-selling book, Baby Steps Millionaires. And all those deals will be gone soon, so make sure to shop the $10 sale today at RamseySolutions.com.
John's in Chicago. Hey, John, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having me.
Sure. What's up?
Well, my wife of 10.5 years passed last April.
Oh, my.
She had a 5-year cancer battle.
Like a year ago, April, or just the other day?
Just the other day, about a month ago.
Gosh, John,
I'm sorry, John. How old was she?
37.
Wow. What was her name?
Mary.
Mary. I'm so sorry.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
You said you've been married 10 years?
Yeah.
And she'd been fighting this 5?
Yep.
Wow. You guys got kids?
3, 9, 8, and 6.
Oh.
How they
2 boys
doing?
and a girl. We're getting by day by day. Things one day at a time.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, John.
Thanks. It's been a battle.
How can we help today, sir?
So we had been going through the baby steps. We really took a look in the mirror about 4 years ago. We were saying about a $92,000 in normal debt, everything and anything. We had got it down to about 30. And that was a home equity, and then we still have about $260 on our mortgage. And now everything is coming. We're fortunate. We did it when our first son was born. We got life insurance, and I'll be having that money trickling in really soon. And I'll have her pension payout, her survivor benefits, and her pension reimbursement check coming in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to have all this, and I don't know what to do with it and where I should do with it. Do I pay down the mortgage? What do I do?
What's the grand total?
With everything, because we're getting a state check from my dad. My dad passed about 9 months ago. I'll have about $600 to work with.
Okay. Well, the first thing you need to do is, and we always recommend this, is just give yourself lots of room for grief. Because when someone's going through what you're going through, your brain doesn't work good. If something happened to Sharon, my brain wouldn't work good. I mean, it clouds you. It just clouds you. You're everything's going good for 1 minute, and the next minute a wave hits you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes it catches you off guard almost. And you see some color or something. Any little thing can trigger. So just give yourself some space to cry, and that's okay. That's not bad. That's a human thing, and you need to give yourself room to do that. So I try to make as few big decisions as I can make, and make them slowly as I can make them. So the good news is there's nothing pushing you here. What types of decisions could you make that you would mess up? Well, you could invest in the wrong thing because your critical thinking skills to look at an investment are not at the top of their game right now. So I would not do any big time complicated investing. So instead, I would just park it in a high yield savings account or a CD for 6 months and cry. Okay. But I would pay off that HELOC, that little $30,000. Mm-hmm. Might reach over and pay off the house. Did she pass in the hospital or at home?
At home.
Okay.
At home. She was home for about a month on hospice.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, John, do you think, will you be in that home long term, do you think? Do you see yourself staying there?
I want to. I love our neighborhood. I love our house.
Yeah.
I love our area. Our oldest is on the spectrum, and we have great supports around him out here in his school.
Totally. That's great.
He's really thrived in the last few years, and I don't see myself going anywhere.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Well, sometimes people need to get away from the place, and sometimes they're perfectly okay with it. Okay, so
I think I'm okay with it. Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just throwing out things here. So that would affect whether I'd want to pay it off or not, right? I mean, if you're going to put it up for sale, in 4 or 5 months, then I'm not going to pay it off. But if you're going to keep it, at least for the foreseeable future, I'd probably reach over and pay it off. So that used up 300 of the 600, if I did my math right.
Yes.
And now you got no payments and no stress. And then we just park the rest of it. I wouldn't do any investing until your head clears. There's no need to.
And no big purchase.
No big purchases. Yeah, you don't need to do some grandiose thing, and you don't need to make a grandiose generosity move either.
Okay.
No big giving at this stage. And wait 6 months to do a big decision on the other 300. and give yourself 6 months to cry. I think it's logical, and you probably can agree with me, even though you're right in the midst of the pain. I think you can still agree with me that 6 months from now, your brain is going to be working better than it works right now.
I sure hope so.
Well, I'm positive. And so you're not, I wouldn't be, and I do this for a living and have for decades, I would not be in a condition to make a major financial decision 1 month after Sharon's gone. I couldn't do it. Okay. And I'm,
so things like with that 300, John, just ideas, again, nothing to do today, but in 6 months, maybe it's one of those things you look up and it's, maybe kids' college accounts, you put some of that money in there. Maybe you guys go on a great trip, next summer, a year from now, and say, hey, we're going to go and use some of this and enjoy it and do a trip. You can have places to designate this money, but just like he was saying earlier, there's nothing big needs to happen. The biggest stuff would be this debt if you wanted just to kind of clean it up. But even, John, if you wanted to do nothing for a few months financially, you're fine. Nothing is in a rush here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And hey, man, if we can help you anyway, you call us back, okay?
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry for you, man. Just high yield savings and just park it. Guys, that's a great rule for anyone who's lost somebody. You've lost a child, you've lost a spouse, even sometimes a parent, depending on the situation.
And even a divorce. I mean, anything that has a level of that grief.
Trauma.
Yes, a traumatic
trauma.
event or anything like.
Yeah, just give yourself some room. You got to remember, personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. The mathematics necessary to become wealthy are 6th grade math. But the critical thinking skills to keep yourself from doing something stupid are grown-up stuff. That's called maturity, emotional stability, spiritual maturity, spiritual stability, relational maturity, relational stability. Those are higher indicators of your ability to build wealth than you being some kind of math savant. In other words, navigating life while you do money is a bigger deal than actually doing math. And so that's how you got to have some things like when you're in a traumatic situation, pause and breathe. This is the Ramsey Show. Retro Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Charles is with us on the Ramsey Show. Hey, Charles in Boston, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
So my question today, I'm a bit of like a trust fund baby type of situation, and my question has to do with helping my girlfriend with some of her expenses here and there. It's never that much, and I'm kind of overall I'm pretty stingy and all that. So I guess my big question is just how much should I really do?
For a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's your honest advice, just kind of.
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah, y'all aren't married. I mean, you're not even engaged. Y'all are dating, and that's awesome. And if
you take her out on a date, you can buy dinner.
Yeah.
But
I always
you don't need to be paying her freaking rent.
I guess that's a good thing. It was really about different trips. Honestly, trips, I want to go on as well. So, should I be paying for any of that type of thing, or do you think that's just a bad decision?
So tell me about being a trust fund baby. What does that mean?
Yeah, so my parents kind of set up like a trust for me when I was a child. So
how old are you now?
I'm 25 now.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I do sales.
Okay. What do you make?
About 80 in that.
Do you live on that, or do you spend more than that?
I easily live on that. In fact, over the last 2 years since I graduated, I've been...
So you don't utilize the money from the trust for your life at this stage?
Yeah, I've never withdrawn from it.
Okay, because a trust fund baby generally means a useless human being who does nothing because his parents left him too much money. Okay, that's not you. You're industrious, you have a job, you're doing well, you're living on your own income, and the trust is just it's extra gravy on the biscuit. It's just extra wealth, and that's not a trust fund baby. I mean, you are a baby that got a trust, but that's not but the trust fund baby thing is a negative connotation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you're not that guy.
Yeah.
You're a guy who earns his own keep. And your grandpa and your dad and your mom will be proud of you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So date a woman like that.
Okay.
Not one that's financially needy as a single girl.
Yeah, that it's just honestly some debt, and it's just kind of dragging.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, does she work?
Yeah. She works as well.
Okay. So why can she not pay her part of her life if y'all go on a trip or something?
Yeah, she doesn't have like any disposable income at this point. So
what does she make?
55.
Okay. Well, you got disposable income at 80. So interesting. Yeah. I you can look at this, but you just need to be real careful of it, because I got to tell you, every dollar you put into something like this has a negative weight on the relationship. You start skewing the relationship when you're not both coming at the relationship from strength, financially, spiritually, character, everything. It's very hard to get an equilibrium. That's an old guy talking.
No, that does make a lot of sense, honestly.
Yeah,
and I would say too, Charles, where you could tend to overspend, because I do want to applaud you that you're living within your means of the income that you have. And I think that's going to do you really well with the level of dignity and what that's going to do for you as a person, right? I'm like, just because you've come from wealth, you are still standing on your own 2 feet. And I think that is going to breed a lot of great characteristics in who you become as your life unfolds. Saying all that, I think when love is in the picture and this girlfriend that you really like, and you guys think of like, oh my gosh, we could go on this awesome trip, and how fun would that be? That's where overspending and emotions come into play. So there's almost a level of accountability even for you to be like, okay, yeah, here's a great trip that we want to take. But I'm paying for my stuff. She's going to pay for her. So that's even going to dictate the type of trip we take. It may not be as nice of a trip if I pay for it all, right? And so there's almost this level where you can tend to overspend in lifestyle in the name of, yeah, we're going to just go and have fun and live life and all that. So there's something to be said about having that boundary with yourself of you pay for your stuff. Now,
we're just making you process it like an adult instead of a child. You just have to process the decision like a grown-up. And when you do that, it's going to lead you to really smart decisions here, or smarter decisions. Good question. Thank you for joining us. Jeff is in Tampa. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you, Dave. I'll preface this call after listening to callers back that I lost my wife of 47 years 30 days ago. She died of cancer.
Oh, my gosh, Jeff.
In our home with me. She was in my arms and our children at her side.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, it's just tough. But I heard everything you said about not making the decisions. But if I could, I'd like to present my question to you.
Sure.
So I'm debt-free except for the house. I owe $56K on it. I have some savings in retirement, in a 401k and IRA, and then I have some money in a business checking account that I have not transferred in as income yet. And,
how much?
About $180,000.
Okay, and how much in your nest egg at retirement?
There's one right now. The 401k is 115. It went down. It's only at 115 right now, and then the IRA is 90.
Okay, so you got another couple of hundred there, and then a couple of hundred in business checking. 56 mortgage. What's your question?
Well, first of all, I have a specific, I own a small real estate company, and we manage properties, and we sell and list and sell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do. My wife's not here anymore. And so I want to buy a specific rental property, and I can get it for like $285K, and it pays $2,000 a month rent. And so my question is, should I try to take that money out of retirement and add my business from my business income to it and buy the rental, or should I not? If I take all that money out, I'm going to get nailed on taxes.
You're going to get nailed on taxes anyway, because a sub-S and an LLC and a business are taxable in a calendar year. Whether you take the money out or not, the profit is taxable.
Okay.
Are you a sub-S or an LLC?
S.
Yeah, you're going to get it's all passed through on calendar year. You get taxed anyway.
Okay.
I face the same thing. That's how I know. So, but if I understand you right, you'd have to drain everything to buy this rental property, and you'd have basically no money left.
Well, I would have because I could take 85 out of my checking, and then I'd have about 100, and then I would have the.
But I mean, you have no nest egg other than real estate.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Well, after paying taxes, you're right. I would not have a lot left.
Yeah.
Instead, I'd have to build it back up.
Yeah.
Or I could pay my house off.
I'd pay your house off and rest. And let's save towards buying a rental property that we can pay cash for without just completely liquidating everything to cause it to happen. It scares me that you're just basically cleaning out all the accounts to buy this one property.
Well,
I love real estate, but I don't love any of it that much.
Yeah.
You got to keep a liquidity position. You got to keep some cash in this situation. I don't know how much other properties and what your overall net worth is, but you've obviously done pretty well. But I would hold back on that as much as I love real estate. Hey, I'm so sorry, Jeff. Sorry you're facing that. Mm-hmm. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, co-host of the brand new, wildly popular Smart Money Happy Hour with George Camel on Ramsey Networks. It's a big-time podcast. Be sure and check it out. Hey, we're here to help you. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Diana is in San Jose. Hi, Diana, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Rachel. How are you doing?
Great. How can we help?
Quick question for you. I want to work towards becoming a stay-at-home mom in about 2 to 3 years. And I wanted to ask if you think I can afford it and if it's a good idea.
Okay, so what do you guys make now with both your incomes?
So my income is I'm a little shy of about $1 million a year.
$1 million?
My husband, $1 million, right? And my husband's about $150,000.
Oh, wow.
What do you do?
I'm vice president for a major corporation.
How old are your kids?
Kids are 9 and 11.
9.
And my goal is to try to be home for them during their teen years.
Yeah.
That's why I'm aiming for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Gulp.
Yeah. And I'm
Wow.
the breadwinner, as you can see.
I mean,
So,
you know, you tell me you're making $50,000, we can have one discussion. When you tell me you're making $1 million, gulp.
yeah.
But still possible,
you can do
Diana.
It. You can do it. It's just a
figure this out. And
It's just a
it's just a lot. I mean, honestly, what
it's
it
a
is,
decision.
It's
but,
a decision.
I mean, wow,
it's a
what
lifestyle
decision.
shift, and that's it. But I think as a mom with 3 little ones, I'm like, I get it. I mean, being home, I think is, and especially if that's where your heart is being pulled, it's going to continue to feel that way. And
So,
where are you guys at financially, Diane? I mean, obviously you're doing fine with income, but like with debt, house, retirement, all of that, where are you guys at?
So on the house, we owe about $650,000.
Okay.
On retirement, I have about a little north of $2 million. And then in terms of investments and cash, about 1.2.
Okay.
Okay. So if you paid off the house today, what would be the problem with that?
I could do that.
Yeah, you could. All right. And then we just pile up cash. And how big a pile of cash do you want to have before you live on 150?
Yeah.
What's the track he's on? 3 years from now, what will he be making?
Probably 175.
Yeah.
I'd say.
In San Jose, woo. Yeah. Cost of living. But you can do that. I mean, you can do it. And you're going to have a net worth of $3 or $4 million at that point.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
48.
Well done.
Great
Very
job.
well done. Yeah. I think you just say, we're going to have this pile of cash and we're going to set up our lifestyle with no mortgage in such a way that we live on 175 without draining down the net worth.
And I would start practicing, Diana, because honestly, the shift, not just lifestyle wise, but even just mentally seeing certain numbers in the account that would hit on the 1st and the 15th with your paychecks that aren't going to be there. I think there's
Practice living on his income.
Practice living on that for like 6 months. And
I would actually pay off your house today and start living on his income as practice.
Start practicing that now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with no mortgage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just
yeah.
taxes.
Yeah. If you pay off the house today and you just say, we're going to set up a budget on 150 and we're going to live on that, everything else is paid for, and we're not going to deplete the balance sheet to maintain a lifestyle that our income no longer supports after you quit.
Yep.
And then, you just make that decision.
And here's the deal too, Diana. I don't know how you feel about this, because I even pulled back from work after my 3rd, even with travel and stuff. I mean, there was a season there and still a little bit in it where I'm like, when I can be home at certain times, I'm going to be. And so that was a shift I made in my career about 2.5 years ago. And as high functioning as you are, which is way beyond me, what you're doing, but you obviously have something in your personality and your passions, and that you're really good. You have a skill set that you're used to using 40, 50, 60 hours a week, however much you're working right now. And to go from that to 0 is going to be a shift. Not that it's a wrong shift and you may love it, but you may even look up to Diana in 3 years. And when the kids are in school all day, you may be like, I wonder if there's like a thing I can do for a little bit, each week. And I kind of do something here. Again, not for the money, but simply for your skill set that could still bring in money. So I'm saying all that to say, you guys aren't going to be at 175 forever and ever. Amen. You may be if you decide I just want to be the.
I mean, if you quit in 3 years, and in 5 years after that, you're probably got your kids graduating.
Right.
Yeah.
8 years from now.
Got it.
So that lifestyle shift.
I would think about how I'm going to plug back in. You may never want to plug back in at the level you are now, but Rachel's right. You don't want to get just, I don't know, personality whiplash. I don't know. What do you call it? But
yeah. And you may, and again, you may transition into that and you're like, dang, this is what I've been missing and I love it and I'm so present and that's awesome. But I just wonder because you are a high functioning individual, to get to the level you are, I wouldn't be shocked that, that you want
to plug
in 3-4 years,
else,
that you're like, I wonder if there's something else here I have ideas with, or I I want to use that skill set of myself again. So that's all I'm saying, because I don't think you'll stay at 175 forever either.
Yeah,
so
and you know, the other thing is, if you want to go back to this world a decade from now, you know, figure out a way to leave your, you know, the camel's nose under the tent, leave yourself an on-ramp without jeopardizing your goal of being home with the kids. But, you know, if you were in the medical world, for instance, I would tell you to make sure you kept your certifications in place. Let's not burn the bridges, right? Let's just take a 5-year sabbatical and then figure out where we're going back. If you want to go back,
that's right.
Leave yourself that opportunity.
Yep.
Not saying you have to, but obviously you've got a tremendous capacity to earn.
And Diana, I'll applaud you in that, because I do think, you know, that, and again, everyone's story is different, everyone's passions are different, everything. But I do think when you're at that level of income, the courage to say,
I'm going to turn it off.
I'm going to turn it off. And
That's what I said. Gulp.
Yeah. And I'm going to be home. I just applaud you in that. Not many people, Diana, would do that.
That's being really comfortable in your own skin and in your own value system. That's
and
very,
to
very
say,
powerful.
I'm even going to pull back my lifestyle, because some people won't do that. They won't sacrifice their lifestyle for an income that they're making. But the amount of peace that you will have if you follow that gut and this is what you feel like you're wanting to do, there's a piece there that doesn't have a price tag.
You're going to do this
and your life is going to be so rich in so many other ways. And so I applaud you, Diana. I think that's really courageous. I think it's awesome.
If you pay off the house today and you live on $150 for the next 2 to 3 years,
yep.
and then you quit your job, you're going to have a huge pile of money and you will have done zero damage to your financial
future.
future.
You're a bad A, Diana. To be 48 years old and
that's
making $1 million a year. What was her position, she say? High president of something.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
High president. Yeah, that's a position. Yeah.
You're the high president.
This is the Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Matthew is with us in Jackson, Tennessee. Hi, Matthew. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Mr. Ramsey. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, Mr. Ramsey. I have a 16-year-old daughter that's just entered the workforce, and I want to make sure I'm giving her the proper financial advice that I was not given growing up.
Okay. And she's 16?
Yep, she's 16.
That's great. What is she doing?
She's a hostess for a restaurant, making about $11 an hour.
Good for her. That's awesome. And is she doing this to pay for expenses or car insurance? Is there like a big goal for her that she's working for, or just to have some spare money?
She wanted to do something to get out of the house, and I said, and she also wanted a car, and I said, well, you're going to have to pay car insurance, so you're going to need a job. And she got the job. She's paying her car insurance, and we're starting the baby steps. And she's on baby step 3, and she had $2,000, had an emergency come up, and she paid for her own money, her car repairs.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm very proud of her. She's ahead of me on the baby steps, so very proud of her.
That's impressive. What's her plan after high school?
We've been talking about that. She's still unsure on what she wants to do for the rest of her life. I said that's fine, but we need to have some kind of plan to get general education going. Yep.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, I think, Matthew, one of the things about teaching anybody about money is kind of even going just down to the basics, that there are 3 things that you can do with money. You can give it, you can save it, and you can spend it. And we need to be doing all 3 all the time. And especially with children in the home, teaching those 3 basics is really helpful, because that's just going to magnify as she gets older and has a career and earns money and starts a family, and life continues on, that she needs to know how and what to be generous with and what that looks like, what that feels like, how to delay gratification and have savings, and knowing to put some savings away, which she has done a really great job at already, and then to spend some and enjoy it and learn some mistakes in that area, right? Buying things that you realize, man, I shouldn't have bought that. But learning all of that, those 3 basic principles, is a great place to start. And so that's one place I would just encourage you. And then, even setting her up with a really simple budget. There won't be many line items, but for her to be practicing when that paycheck comes in, put some specifics around it on where it's going to go and what it's going to do, and give it a name. So again, it's kind of just taking what we talk about here on this show, and I'd say minimizing it some, because it's not going to be the dollar amounts, of a full-time job. But still, those money habits, putting those in place early is huge, and they don't have to be complicated, but it's simple things like that.
She can start building the wise spending muscle, the generosity muscle, and the saving investing muscle, even though the amounts aren't going to be large. They don't need to be. It's putting that groove in her brain. We're starting to say, this is how life works. And so my job as your dad is to make sure that you develop these muscles, so when you get the opportunity later to handle a lot more money, you're going to automatically go to wise spending, good generosity, and good investing and saving. And you're always going to be thinking that way. Debt avoidance. The only other thing I would add to all this from a practical standpoint is I'd go down and make sure there's a checking account opened in her name with your name on it, where you have visibility, and you look at it with her once a month and teach her how to reconcile that and how to keep a checking account properly operating. We did that with all 3 of ours, and we did the save, give, spend thing with all 3 of ours. And when they went to college, they had a set amount per month that was their budget, and they were used to living on what they had, and they were used to managing their own checking account. I did not have drama with all 3 kids through 4 years of college each. None of them called with financial crises in the middle of college, because they had the muscles built to carry these different things. And Rachel and I talk about that in the book, Smart Money, Smart Kids. It was Rachel's first #1 bestseller. We did it together when she first joined us here at Ramsey after college. And it was her being the daughter part, me being the old man daddy part. And but it's teaching kids how to handle money. And it's covered in there on an age-appropriate basis. And, you're doing a really good dad thing here, Matthew. Way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Austin will pick up, Matthew. We'll give you a copy of that book, Smart Money, Smart Kids, because it is a great resource. But I think what you're doing right now, honestly, is great. And then she's going to have natural questions like we did as kids, of questions about taxes later, down the road, and investments and all of that.
Yeah, like after you get your first paycheck and you realize they keep a lot of it, you learn to vote different.
Oh, my gosh.
It's just good for you, It starts forming politics, right?
What happens with that paycheck?
Yeah. I don't like socialism. I don't like it when I'm the one that's earning. You figure that out real quick. You don't have to be 80 to figure that out. You can start 16 years.
It's all right there. I do remember making a PowerPoint presentation asking for more money every month, because I was driving home. And I remember being like, there's like no gas. I don't really have much. And I think I needed like an extra $50 a month or something. And I did a whole presentation.
Was that in college or high school?
That was college.
Really?
Because I came home and I was like, I need.
There's a PowerPoint presentation in college?
Yeah, we did PowerPoint in college.
I know, but I just don't remember this.
Yep.
It doesn't. If any one of the 3 would have done it, it would have been you.
Because it works.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Did it work? Did we give you more money?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And I was like, he is generous.
You made the sale.
He is generous.
It's a marketing presentation. Yeah.
Look at him there.
Yeah, we raised it $50 a month, and your life was changed. Yeah.
That is for a college student.
Yeah.
Changes a lot.
It was back when you went to college.
Back when I was there. That's true. That's true.
Zach's in Houston. Hey, Zach, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, thanks for taking my call. Quick question about investing.
Okay.
With interest rates being the way that they are, are CDs a wise investment option for right now,
No.
even for short term?
Well, for short term, and short term is not an investment. Short term savings.
Okay.
Investing is long term, and you've got to outpace inflation and taxes long term. You got to be north of 10 most of your life investing, and CDs aren't north of 10.
Right. Even with a 9-month CD for 5%.
Why do you? I mean, what is this money for?
Just general money that's set aside. My brother's been whispering in my ear, man, CDs, man, they're going up. They're the way to go. And
way to
I've
go
been
for
using
what?
Smart Investor for
To
getting
get
a return
rich?
on investing.
To get rich?
I think just for short term is what he's looking at, not long term.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, the interest rates on CDs,
they're
high
not
yields.
short term unless you have a short term goal for them.
Right.
So what are you going to use the money for 6 months, a year when the CD cashes out?
For my brother's intentions, I have no clue.
No,
but
you.
For mine, it's just just another way to bring in money, just another way to get some kind of return.
Okay, it sucks for that.
Okay.
We call them certificates of depreciation because they don't even keep up with inflation. If inflation's running 9.6 and your CD's paying 6 or 7, you're losing money. You get that, right?
Yes, sir. Totally understand.
So next time he whispers in your ear, tell him to get a girlfriend. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, but I would say CDs, high yields, money markets, all of that are... It is wonderful when you have money in it for short-term savings because...
It is short-term, though.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's like for an emergency.
But I'm saying
you want
if
an
he's-
emergency fund?
I know, but I'm saying if he's excited about the interest rates today with those accounts, yeah, it is exciting versus what it was 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
It's not exciting. It's
Well, it
just
is when
better.
I have short-term savings and I'm like, dang,
It's still
that's...
not. You're not making any money.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's better than 1 or 2%
it
than
is
what it
better,
was.
but I mean, you know.
That's why he's probably excited. But for
But
short-term
it's not.
savings,
It's not a way to build wealth.
No, it's
It's a
not.
way to park
But
money more
I'm
wisely.
excited about the interest rates today than
Park
it
money-
was there.
Yeah, park money more wisely, but park it
Yes.
for a short term. Like
Yes,
if you're going to buy a
yes.
house in September and you want to park it until September, fine. That'll work. Well, here's a fact about Ramsey Solutions that I'm super proud of. We have never laid anyone off. Wow. We fired people for not doing their work, but we've never laid anybody off due to not being able to pay our bills. For the past 30 years, we've been doing what we preach. We run a cash-based business. We budget for everything, including having enough cash to pay the people that we hired. What a novel concept. And so far, we've been able to manage that. So we don't cut you loose because of our poor planning. When the quarantine happened and we lost entire segments of revenue, everyone stayed. Everyone got paid. We had the cash, and we made the survival move to keep all of our talented people. So while other people are firing, we're hiring. And we've got open roles in our marketing, our sales, our technology teams, and we go home at 5:30. If you are a coder, we don't work you 80 hours a week. You write code. If you're a marketer, we don't work you 80 hours a week. We go home. Now, there's exceptions when we're in the middle of working on some project or something, but 90% of the time, I walk through the building. If somebody's still here at 6 o'clock, I tell them to go home. And we're not just a radio show. There's 1,100 of us here at Ramsey Solutions. So if you want to check out the positions, the marketing, sales, technology, programming, check out the open roles at ramseysolutions.com/careers. We'd love to have you on the team. It's a great place to work. People actually care here about each other, about the customer, and about getting our work done. It's really good. Oh, but you need to know, we work from work. We're at work, at the building. in the building. We work from work. So that's how that's going to work. So RamseySolutions.com/careers. Check it out. We'd love to have you on the team. Ryan's with us in Minneapolis. Hey, Ryan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Dave and Rachel. How y'all doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up, sir?
All right, so my wife and I are currently working the debt snowball. We've paid off our credit cards and student loans, and we currently have AC unit we had to replace and 2 cars. And my wife, being a math teacher, wants to attack the cars with the interest rate versus the cars without interest rates. And just kind of the numbers, we owe AC about $6,000 with 3.75% interest. One car is $11,000, 0% interest, and the other car is $30,000 with 3.5% interest. And she thinks mathematically it makes sense to hit that $30,000 first and then work our way down. And she doesn't understand the kind of attacking the smaller and working their way up and all that. So I just kind of wanted your advice on kind of the, relationship-wise attacking the snowball and just not convincing, but just further ammunition.
Well, earlier, Ryan, what were the other debts? You said you guys paid off credit cards and student loans. How much were those?
Yeah. Student loans, I was the only one with student loans, about $30,000. Credit card was about $8,000.
What's your household income?
$175,000, about to be $90,000 in fall. So we're about to get more money, and I want to make sure we're attacking this smart.
Okay. Well, I think we need to pan back from the discussion of the debt snowball for a second and establish some different principles. Because when I first started doing this 30 years ago, I went at it the way your wife does. And most people in the financial world try to fix all of our personal finance stuff with a math solution. The problem is math did not get us into this mess. Because if you were doing math, you wouldn't have all this freaking debt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not a math problem. It's a behavior problem. Right. You've been buying crap you can't afford with money you don't have to impress people you don't even really like. I mean, it's a behavior problem. And so you don't attack a behavior problem with a math solution. She's technically correct on the math part, but she's wrong on how to do this. And the reason she's wrong is you need to fix a behavior problem with a behavior-based solution. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, sir.
And so in psychology, they call it quick feedback loops. And a quick feedback loop is I need some small successes to build my confidence and hope so that I increase my momentum and my energy and my commitment to a process. And so, in other words, when you start first losing weight, if you gain 5 pounds, you're not going to stick with it. But if you first start losing weight and the first 3 weeks you're on the plan of, eating whatever, I don't know, carrot juice or whatever it is you're going to do, and you whatever your plan is, whatever the fad this week is on losing weight, you're going to eat less, and you're going to exercise more, and you've got this new way of doing things, and you're intentional about your intake and intentional about your exercise level for the first time in maybe a few years, and you lose 4 pounds, that's encouraging. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you'll stay with it. And so that is a feedback loop. You did the work and you got positive feedback. And the more you can do that, the closer you can keep those loops together, the higher the probability of a habit being changed permanently is. And a way of doing things being changed permanently is, because this is a series of behaviors that have to change, and then the math changes, not the other way around. So, all of that to say, you pay off your smallest interest rate first. I mean, you pay off your smallest debt first because you get the success. God, I just blew that whole thing. Yeah, that's hilarious.
And let me say this, Ryan. Pan back.
I know what you mean, yep.
And also, let me say this. You guys as a couple are on the same page of getting out of debt. So if you both have agreed, we've been so stupid. We have bought cars we can't afford. We've had credit card debt. We went into student loan debt. Like, we are done with this life of debt, right? And as a family, as a couple, you agree on that. And then the next step is, okay, how are we going to do it? But the major there is already resolved. Like, you guys are on the same, like, you guys are working towards the goal, right? Like, we want people to be free from debt.
You're a lot closer to winning than if she said, I want to stay in debt.
That's right. And we talk to a lot of people when we have this show that's where they're at, right? So I see that. I'm like, whew, that's a big hurdle.
Yeah, you got.
So Ryan, there's a part of me too that I'm like, listen, pay off that $6,000 with the 3.75%. That makes her happy. And then the car, there's a little bit of me too that I'm like, listen, you're both going to pay them off. It's smarter to pay off the $11,000 with the argument that Dave just said, and it's exactly right. But at the end of the day, too, like, you guys are on the same team, so get out of debt, right? So there's a part of me too. Don't like be in this massive fight day in and day out of how you're going to do the goal.
It doesn't need to be a massive fight. It needs to be a change of how you're addressing it, though.
Yeah, but if you both
that way you look at it has to change, because if you look at it through a math lens, you're always going to lose. It's not a math problem.
It's not. But when they both say, hey, as a family, we're not doing this again, like, they agree on that.
That's a first step.
Yes.
But it's not the last step. The last step is, Ryan, here's what you have to do. I mean, the two of you, it's her and you both. Me too, by the way, okay? So it's like I hired a personal trainer I've got this gym in my house, and he comes over, and he's got a six-pack, and I got a keg. All right? And he says, okay, you need to eat these three things in this order. And I go, well, I think I'm going to eat them in a different order. Well, why would I? That's dumb. That just doesn't make sense. He's got a proven process.
Right, I know.
I need to do what the Duber said to do. I hired him to do it. And you hired me to teach you how to do this.
No, they didn't hire you.
I know, they did too. They gave me their time. Right. And so listening on the show, and who knows, I'm about to give him a book, and then he's going to go to Financial Peace. So he hired me. But
Brian, y'all are doing great. Attack it. Yeah. Pay off the smallest one.
I know, but guys, it's important, though, to think through this. And no, I'm not going to acquiesce on this. It's not okay to look at stuff through the wrong lens that doesn't have the success principle to it. And so if I look at what my trainer says to do, and I go, I'm going to do 2/3 of that, and I'm not doing that other thing, then I'm going to get a muted level of success. Obviously, this is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 4:25. Let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Stephen Covey said, most of us spend too much time on what is urgent and not enough time on what is important. Covey had in his book, Principle-Centered Leadership, it may have been in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People too, the quadrant of time that you manage, and 4 different quadrants, urgent and important, urgent, important, urgent, not urgent, important, not important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we spend too much time on things that are urgent but not important. That'd be like answering your email, or making sure you check your Twitter feed. The slave of the digital world. All right, Robert is in Atlanta. Hey, Robert, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So my wife and I have found ourselves in an unsafe house, we believe, and so we're thinking that we're going to have to move really ASAP.
What's wrong with the house?
There's so we didn't really do our research up front. We had a baby that was due within a couple of weeks by the time that we bought it, and so we rushed in to upsize and make room for the baby, but the location just kind of is more unsafe. We hear a lot of crime activity going on around us, gunshots every now and then. So that's kind of the gist.
What was the event that broke the camel's back? What was the latest thing that you went, I got to get out of here?
Yeah, well, I think within the first 2 weeks, we had our cars broken into.
I'm done.
I'd say
I'm done. Sell it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Sell it. Get out of Dodge. You live in Dodge City. They shoot up and down the street. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Get out of Dodge. No pun intended, but yeah, really do it. Yeah. I mean,
and it doesn't matter how much we sell it for.
Well, I mean, you don't have to panic. Do you have any money?
It's important, not urgent.
Yeah. Do you have any money?
Might be urgent. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got about $30,000 liquid.
What'd you pay for the house?
Checking. We paid $345.
Okay. Call a Ramsey trusted real estate endorsed local provider for real estate. Sit down with them and tell them that you want to sell the home and what is a reasonable period of time, a reasonable price for the house to sell in 60 to 120 days. Okay? And then decide and then decide, do I want to go ahead and move or can I make it that long?
Okay, understood.
Can you make it that long? Or do you feel safe enough to stay 2 or 3 more months, or do you need to go ahead and move now?
Well, we've been there for 6, so I'd say 2 or 3 more months probably could happen.
6 months,
right?
And 2 cars got broke into. Okay, right?
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all talk about it because, hey, listen, if they're shooting up and down the street and they're breaking into my cars and I got a new baby, I'm gonna go rent an apartment and move. And put it up for sale, and when it sells, I'll talk about buying somewhere else. But right now, we may not even buy. Just go get your family safe, right? You got to get out of the freaking war zone.
Right.
Am I missing something?
Yeah. No. The other question was just is renting an option? If we were to move, renting is fine because we need to build up some capital for the next down payment, and we can take our time, be calculated with the next one, of course.
Yeah.
But if we, is renting an option for the current one?
To start with, it's your only option right now if you move out this weekend because you don't feel safe.
Okay.
So you're going to be renting a while, and that's okay. But if you say we're going to rent for 2 years, build up cash and slow our roll and get get a much more diligent, careful process when we buy next time.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry. I may not have been clear. I guess the current house, given that the atmosphere is changing in that area, appreciation could be a thing in the next few years. And so if we could hold on to that as an asset.
No. If we have to move because our family is not safe, we're not counting on appreciation.
Okay.
That's just, you live in Dodge City. No, I mean, the cool people are living there, but the cool people are not scared of the bullets. Okay, that's fine. You got hipsters next to gangsters. I got it, okay? But that's one of these gentrification neighborhoods. But this is okay. You can do that. But you told me with the start of the call, you have a new baby, and as a dad, you don't feel safe. So if you don't feel safe, don't invest in the area.
Okay. 10-4. Understood. Thank you so much.
Get out of Dodge, man.
Yeah, it's that. And also, if you guys don't feel safe, of course, then move. Like your peace of mind is very important in that way. But also, we have friends that live in a part of Nashville, though, that, I mean.
There's a lot.
And it is. And
I can count 4 or 5 areas on my hand right now.
Yeah, and people live there, and they're expensive houses. You know what I'm saying? So.
And some of them are nice houses.
And it's the tolerance level of what feels right to you. So that's what I'm saying, Robert.
It is the difference in a boomer and a millennial.
I think so, a little bit.
For sure.
Dave's like, get out of there.
No boomers are going to live next to gangsters
and
call it fun. Millennials think it's funny. I don't understand.
I think it's
These
funny.
hipsters next to gangsters makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. But it's everywhere. I get it. I see it happening. And it's the regentrification neighborhoods is the nice way of saying it. But, and he's right. If it continues and enough people don't get killed in the process, then if it continues,
and I also think
then it will be a huge investment
in Nashville, in a suburb of we are
We're in a suburb.
Yeah,
we're in a bubble.
But I just saying, like, we have friends that have moved here from Chicago, from other areas, and yeah, you hide your purse. Like, it's just like there's a different safety measure of how they're used to living life than we are. So, like, I'm saying your tolerance for all of that is very low, which is not wrong.
No, it's
but
just,
I'm also saying to Robert,
I don't live next to gangsters. It
well,
doesn't
I don't know
matter.
if that's what his case is. You keep saying that. And I'm like,
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
know.
Well, it is. I mean, when they're shooting up and down the dadgum street, and you call it fun. I mean, I don't get this. Not you. Not you, but I'm just saying people do.
Some people have a higher tolerance for where they live. And so, but Robert, that's what I'm saying. It's so individual. And if Robert and his wife
aren't comfortable
not
with
comfortable,
bullets and car being broken into when they have a new baby,
you need to
that
move.
makes them normal.
Oh my gosh.
That makes them smart. Yeah. I mean,
I hear you, but I'm also broadening.
Childhood friends of yours bought house, door kicked in, robbed the whole place in one of those neighborhoods right after you got married. I remember the story. Okay, won't name the name. We're on the radio, but this stuff it boggles a boomer's mind. I'll just tell you. I get it intellectually, emotionally. I don't understand. Why not go somewhere else? I don't get it.
Half the company lives in some of these places, and there's
half the
great
guys in the booth in there do probably. I don't know, but yeah, it's crazy. And the fun one. Have you seen the Nashville judgmental map?
Oh gosh, don't stop. We're moving on.
It's fabulous.
No, we're moving on. I don't even know. I don't want to know.
No,
I'm nervous.
Fabulous.
I'm starting to.
It's
I'm
making
starting to get
fun.
nervous.
It's making fun of us out here. It makes fun of every neighborhood.
Okay.
And so it's an equal opportunity offender. And it's great. It's like this one's gangs. This one's gangs that kill cats. This one's hipster trust fund babies.
Why?
This one's
Why are we doing
boomers.
this?
This is boomers like Ramsey. I mean, it's like it makes fun of everybody. It's hilarious.
My gosh.
Oh, I think it's funny. I sent it to one of my buddies who bought a house in one of those neighborhoods. Yeah. So you got to have fun with this, y'all. Got to have fun with it. I truly think that is a difference generationally that I've seen that is way different because the generations prior to mine and then mine were suburbanites. And they came to the suburbs for a safe.
They left, yes.
Yeah, they either left the farm.
Yes.
They either left the farm or they left the inner city to come to a safe bubble. And then the generations following are going back into those areas and regentrifying them and living in them. And that's what he's dealing with. with. Yeah. So it's very interesting. All right, that's a fun discussion. Rachel Cruz, always a joy.
Oh,
yes.
I'll be back tomorrow.
The guys in the booth, always a joy.
Get ready.
Y'all just get the hate mail lined up. We're going to burn it for kindling. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.